we're going to do what could be perhaps the shortest news segment we have ever done on this channel, unless we spend a little extra time in the speculation zone. This is what I wanted to do. I want to click on this thing and push that button. There we go. Tonight on Clyde Plays News, we have literally just one story, and on the surface, it's not even an interesting story. This is the kind of devblog article that sometimes I skip. I don't even do a news story about, because there's not a whole lot that matters in this article. Or is there? Now, I'm not really going to be all conspiratorial or conspiracy theoritorial on this, but we'll try for a minute. This is an interesting article, and let's go over it real quickly. It says they're going to change some things to clans and to brawls, and it first talks about brawls for about an hour, then it talks about clan battles for about 3 seconds. So it says brawls is going to be 9v9. Now brawls are up. Brawls are happening right now, and they are 9v9. It says brawl on tier 10 ships to begin in World of Warships. They had a really good time, a really high popularity with battleships in brawls last time they did the 9v9. And because of that, we were trying to assemble teams of 9 players, but they limited it to, I think, 2 battleships. So they said, well, that's crazy. Let's make it 4, because what was happening was you would get this pile up of battleship players in the queue, and they would wait a long time to get into battles, because you could only put 2 battleships on this team and 2 battleships on that team, and then you had to fill 14 other players with non-battleships. And everybody likes battleships in brawls. So they decided to change the matchmaker to allow 4 battleships per side in order to flush players through the matchmaking queue a little bit faster. It says this change will not only decrease the waiting time in the queue before entering a battle, but it will also allow the matchmaker to assemble more balanced teams based on the players' results in brawls. That's kind of interesting. It'll allow us to assemble more balanced teams based on the players' results in brawls. The players' results. This is something that does not come into play with the regular matchmaker in any other game mode in World of Warships. Okay, so let's keep reading. Keep that in mind. In addition, by reducing the limitations of the matchmaker, a team playing in a division will always face another division or a team consisting of stronger players, not ships, players. Again, player skill, player performance, player history has never been a part of the matchmaker in World of Warships in any mode that I can remember. Hey, Kablamo, how are you? So that is what caught my ear or my eye or whatever as I was reading this today. This change will reduce the excessive efficiency of divisions and brawls and increase the percentage of wins against them for most players. So they are going to take player skill, or at least player performance, historical performance in brawls, and it says that in the above thing. It says it will assemble more balanced teams based on players' results in brawls. This really interests me. This is super important to me as a player. This is the thing I talk about all the time, which is you don't even have to work that hard, Wargaming. When you're matchmaking, pick the teams you were going to pick and then shuffle them up based on the player's skill, their wins, their XP, their whatever in that particular game mode. And now they're doing it, and they casually mention it in here, and they don't make a big deal about it. And I don't watch every YouTube video that goes up every week about World of Warships. I apologize. I just don't have that time. But the fact that they're talking about it at all is really interesting. Yes, Alan, really. And I wanted to bring that up just so people knew about it. That they're actually using player performance in a matchmaker. It's brawls. It's like the least important matchmaker that we have. It's less important than randoms. It's less important than ranked. It's less important than clan battles. But they're doing it. Now, Wargaming does this kind of crap all the time. They test stuff out in these weird sideways game modes. Scott says the least important is co-op. Now, GMAC would probably have to agree with you there because it matches you against robots. You're right. There's very little thinking done in the matchmaker for co-ops. That's a good point. But so that's something to consider, right? Wargaming does this kind of stuff. They test this with oddball game modes, and then they eventually will port that over. Now, this could be test 1 of 100, and who knows what else. We'll be doing weird tests like this where they casually mention it here and there from time to time. But that was the thing I wanted to pop in here and mention. And that is all we've got for the news today, which is that World of Warships, which is that Wargaming is considering using player performance in any matchmaker ever. And with that, we're gonna go back to playing World of Warships. Thanks, guys. Take it easy.
This has been the news on Clyde Plays Live.
These guys. I guess that thing for 7 years we've said we won't do, we could just do real quick. We'll just do it RQ, because they're like texting each other. Hey, don't mind us. I'm just gonna do this RQ RN.